Hi, so I'm here to talk to you about dresses. So dresses can be quite difficult to get right because you have to take into consideration both the top and half, bottom half of your body. You have to take in your horizontal body shape, your vertical body shape, and different kind of prominent features, different concerns the person may have. So it's one piece, and that's why you don't have as much scope as you have in separates. So I'm going to take you through some of my tips and recommendations for different body shapes based on what's in stock in Zara here at the moment. So starting with this midi dress with the drape detail. So straight away you can see that there's a very straight skirt on this dress. This is going to look very well on a rectangle. Straight body shape, and this ruching here is going to give the illusion of a waist that's not naturally there in the rectangle body shape. It's also going to look very well in an inverted triangle. So the body is widest in the inverted triangle at the shoulders and then tapers in naturally towards the bottom half of the body. And you can see that the skirt tapers in slightly at the bottom, so it's going to follow the natural line of the body. It would also work very well on a neat hourglass, so a quite slim hourglass figure. Not going to work on a full hourglass because this high neckline is not going to accommodate a more voluminous bust, and there isn't going to be enough drape here to accommodate a wider hip of a full hourglass with a pair. What is going to work very well in a pair is a dress like this. So firstly, we'll see the volume in the sleeves. That's going to create balance because that's going to match the volume of the hip. So it's going to make the hip look more balanced and balance the narrower top half to the width of the hip. What's also going to happen here is the belting is going to accentuate the narrow waist, which is the smallest part on the pear shape, and there's enough drape and there's enough fabric on the bottom here to skim over the line of the hip without having too much bulk and too much volume. This is also going to work very, very well on your full hourglass as well. Going to nip in the small waist, lovely open neckline to accommodate larger bust, so beautiful on full hourglass also. Now this dress here is similar in some respects to the previous dress in that it has the kind of wrap or crossover effect and the belting at the waist. But what's different is that this skirt has less volume in the bottom. So you've more scope here with straight body shapes with a dress like this. So it's always very important to take the line of the dress into account. That's going to be a big factor in your decisions. You can't just say wrap dresses suit me. No, it depends on the skirt of that wrap dress. Does it taper in the bottom or does it taper out? Is there a little bit more movement? Is there a little bit more volume? Is it more A-line? Is it more straight? And the fabric obviously has a big part to play as well. More tightly woven structured fabrics are going to work better on a straight shape, but if you have curves, if you have a curve in the hip, a pear, an hourglass, you are going to need fabric with drape. So this particular dress here is going to look very well on a neat hourglass or a figure of eight. So a figure of eight is curved on the top, so you can see here you've got that curved wrap over detail in the waist you put on the top, but the skirt is straight enough in the bottom that's not going to swamp the bottom half of the figure eight of it, which is very straight. It's still going to accentuate that lovely slimness they have in the bottom half. So I mentioned about the importance of the fabric. So linen blend. So linen is a tightly woven fabric. So really with tightly woven fabrics, figures with curve are not going to have a lot of scope. You really need fabric with drape for those figure shapes. So this is going to work very well for straighter body shapes. So this is going to look really well on your rectangle. This kind of nod to ruching again is going to create the illusion of a waist, which is not naturally present there. And this skirt kind of comes out to give the illusion of a hip and then tapering back in again. So very, very clever dress, in particular for the rectangle here. I feel there's probably just enough movement to accommodate a neat hourglass. There's certainly not a full hourglass, but a very slim neat hourglass. I think there's just about enough scope in the skirt to accommodate that. And also a figure of eight, curved body shape in the top. There's enough drape there just to accommodate the curve. Unless you had a problem with the tummy area, if you were very conscious of the tummy area or holding a bit of weight there, it wouldn't work. So there's a whole host of factors that have to be taken into consideration. It's not a one size fits all. You have to think about your shape. You have to think about what your concerning features are, the kind of areas you struggle with, and the fabric, what works for you, and the cut of the fabric as well, and the line that the skirt or the dress follows. So lots of things to consider, and worth knowing your shape. Essentially really to know your shape when shopping online for anything. But in particular, pieces like dresses, you have more scope with separates. You can afford to kind of go wrong and make it work for you. But with dresses, really, you do need to get the shape right for you.